Mario Saeed had some success himself with the upkick.
Oh! Saeed is out. We're going to take a look now and see if we can see.
Oh, no, hang on. He turned and he looked at the ref and said, what about the upkicks? And then looked.
That was illegal. That was an illegal upkick.
It's an illegal upkick, but he turns and he says to the ref, what about the upkicks? And then...
The big question, did Mario Saeed fake it? Most people are basing the judgment on a short video clip, usually under a caption along the lines of, is this guy a cheating bastard or what? I'm going to try and put this in context and work out what happened and where we go from here. First off, this fight wasn't even originally scheduled. Both guys had opponents who pulled out and then agreed to fight each other. Azi Thomas is a featherweight, so he was sort of doing Mario a favour fighting above his normal weight class. So you think Mario would be grateful? Not a bit of it. At the weigh-in, he did his full rude boy act. Balaclava on, head in the face, all that business. As he didn't look put out at all, in fact, he stood his ground and gave as good as he got. So out of nowhere, we've now got a grudge match. I interviewed Mario straight after the weigh-in, and like most people, he's a slightly exaggerated version of himself when the camera's on him. He's confident, witty, and obviously loves fighting and all the trappings of prize fighting. Also, he's clearly very popular with his teammates, and that is never the case if you're a full-time dickhead. And on the night, he brought a huge support with him to cheer him on. So none of this seemed to faze Azi Thomas. In fact, quite the opposite. He come out to hit him up by 2-pack, and all the shit he were getting from the cage side as he were giving it back to him with interest. So the fight itself, as he went for a guillotine, Mario got out, were left on top. He dominated position without really landing too much. Now, for any future Warren Commission on this subject, I'll be identified as the bloke in a blue shirt in the background of the video about 10 feet away from the cage. I could hear everything that went on in there. I heard Mark Goddard warning Azi about spitting his gum shield out, all that stuff. So we come to the fateful moment. In real time, my initial reaction was just simple. It was just, that's it, the fight's over, like when I seen him like fall back like that. Because by now, as soon as it happened, the situation in the cage sort of became secondary to the crowd reaction. So Mario's fans were going completely nuts. You know, not serious, but they're just upset about their guy getting hurt, the rattling fences, stamping the feet, that kind of scene. So that calmed down a bit. The DQ's announced, quite rightly. I don't think anyone disputes that whatsoever. You know, even if you think it were accidental, it don't matter. And then after this, there's a bit of calm restored, and I start chatting to a few people, cage side. And everyone I talk to, media, whatever, they're all convinced Mario's faking. And they're all basing this on the replay where he talks to the ref and then shuts his eyes. I watched the replay for the first time, and for me it's an open and shut case. He's conned us. You know, I'm totally convinced by that. Since then it's gone viral, and apart from a vocal band of Mario fans, most people seem to think he's cheating. Now, since then, since Saturday, I have watched that video a lot. And I mean a lot. I find it quite hypnotic watching him going back like that for some strange reason. And to me, there's 3 possible explanations. Number 1, Mario's a cheat. Okay. People point to the video, say, look, he's sold here, the camera never lies. Also, he did post-fight interviews straight after, didn't seem to have no problem. And then he got changed and he was seen around the venue, looked absolutely fine when he was just stood up watching the Shane Mills fight later on. Now, I've got a concern about this theory, because I see Mario's lips moving in the vid, but on the night, I didn't hear him say nothing. And like I said, I heard everything else that was said in there. There's plenty of amateur lip readers posting his exact words, but did we learn nothing from the incident where Zinedine Zidane headbutted the Italian in the World Cup final. You know, lip reading were pretty much discredited after that. You know, it's not an exact science. You know, let's face it, if there's no subtitles, the deaf are pretty much blagging it. You know, also another thing, as a legit organisation, Cage Warriors take safety really seriously. When a fighter goes out, an official counts how long it is before he's awake again. It's so if it turns into a serious medical emergency, they can give like the full details to like whoever the doctor is treating him. I'm told, like this is second hand, it's not from the horse's mouth, I'm told that the figure for Mario were 24 seconds. Just think about that. There's all this chaos erupting all around him. He's at the very centre of it, and he doesn't even blink for half a minute. If you think he's cheating, he's not just a cheat, he's a supervillain. He's got to have ice water running through them veins to be able to just like lay there and think, I'm just going to ignore all this pandemonium and just like play dead. You know, if this is the case, he's a proper supervillain. His next fight, the only possible fight out there for him is Batman. Okay, so I had a brief chat with Azi and his team after. Understandably, they weren't happy with the way things had gone down, but they had sort of quiet underlying confidence. They were saying stuff like, it's all over the internet. And it was as if to say, you know, the truth's going to be out there, and reading between the lines, our guy's going to be vindicated. Okay. An alternative view is the delayed reaction theory, which I'm seeing from Mario supporters. That is a hard sell when you look at the video. You know, if you've been around the combat sports, you've seen plenty of delayed reactions to people being punched, but never quite like this, with people 1 minute seeming to talk and then drop back. So that's a tough sell. But if anyone is a brain injury expert who can bring something to the table about that, I'm all ears. A third explanation is the glancing blow. He cops one full in the face, jolts his head back, and then afterwards, after he takes that, but before he wilts, the flailing leg passes the head. Okay, and this is just after he allegedly talks to Goddard. Now, how many times have we seen a guy take huge power shots and then fall to something that looks relatively feeble? What I'm thinking is, maybe the big shot did the damage, shook everything up, and then he got the faintest graze, you know, the faintest waft of a whiff of thin mint, you know, that just adjusted his head position slightly and just convinced his brain, you know, that's enough, let's get out of here, and shut down. Possible? Now, the fact is, we will never know. You know, even if he were faking, he suffered a concussion where you can see when he drops back, his head bounces up off the canvas. So he probably is going to have no knowledge whatsoever of what happened immediately before that anyway. So we're left with what next? I mean, for Azi Thomas, he said he's got no interest in a rematch yet. You know, he's a featherweight, you know, and why should he? I don't think he'll get the decision changed to a no contest because it were an illegal blow that stopped the contest. But I think the notoriety of the incident means people won't look at it as a loss when they look at his record. You know, and from all the press this incident's getting, he should be main carding from now on. As for Mario, I can only see an upside. You know, people love this kind of shit. The last Cage Warriors video to go really viral, 500,000 hits, was Sheila Gaff when she faked touching gloves and then bombed her lass out in about 7 seconds. You know, her next fight were in the UFC. And I think whatever your view is of this and whatever you think about Mario Saeed as a person or as a fighter, I'm pretty sure you're going to watch his next fight.